All right. Let's see what MTR has to say.
I wish you luck, and
I don't.
Wow.
I really don't. I don't wish the luck to racists.
Oh, I'm not racist.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Nick.
Yeah, I am a little bit racist.
And the Italians, we do not claim you.
So this is I guess she's on a platform with Nick Fuentes, and woo. All right, MTR.
Oh, hey, the Italian.
No, I gotta change up my thumbnail. All right, I should do that while this plays, right? If I could put him on the thumbnail, people will come and watch.
Just don't claim you. You're the one dating a black guy.
CP, what? Yeah, I'm gonna leave this up. Okay, CP, thank you. I'm gonna leave. Thank you for putting that. Disclaimer.
Danger.
There's gonna be some triggering stuff in this video. I already know. But just understand the context. Toxicity is profitable. The reason why they have these kind of spaces and they talk about these kinds of things is because it's profitable. So I'm not playing this to profit off of it. I want to show you guys what people are giving money to.
Danger.
So as Ruslan would say, hide your wives, hide your kids, and all that stuff. All right. So let's go. Wait, he proposed to her and he said no? Wait, context, please. Context this. All right. Please. All right, let's keep playing.
All right, I'm not going to beat around the bush for this conversation. I'm going to get straight to the point. Pearl, you f***ed up. You knowingly invited.
Thank you. He muted the bad words. All right, thank you, CP. All right, thank you.
A white supremacist and a self-proclaimed racist onto a platform which is primarily supported by, at least initially, and produced by black people. This comes across as insensitive to downright nasty. And I want to be clear, it's not just inviting said person to the conversation that's upsetting, because conversations with people who don't agree with each other or don't agree with a particular position, if done in a healthy way, can promote civil discourse. But your up was to not only not defend the people who help create the content on your platform, but to also push a narrative that is insensitive and damaging to those very same people. Pearl, you know that your staff is mostly black people. And I'm talking about from a production perspective.
I'm going to pause it because I don't want him like hitting me up in a coffee pop, right? You guys listening? You guys are listening? Yes, he did play a part in letting her. Yeah. He was definitely on her platform too. Yeah. And in his initial response to it, it seemed like he was defending her and coming off soft. And this could be the case. It could be the case, but he got a lot of heat from his community. You came off very soft. And in order for him not to lose subscribers, he had to come in a little bit harder, which most people tend to do. But let's continue.
As well as a talent perspective. You also know that the majority of your content utilizes black people talking about black relationship issues. You could have.
And that's another thing, right? When you have a moderator who is not of the community, getting two people of the community talking about the ills of the community, right? That's for entertainment purpose. This, you know what that is? It's modern day. You know how back in the day, right? Historical documents, noted that slave masters would take the alpha, black slave of one plantation and put them in against the alpha black slave in another plantation, have them fight while the white masters would watch and bet on it. Yeah, it's sort of like that. It's sort of like that. Not as severe, but at the root of it, it's sort of like that. When you have somebody outside the community, like who's the dude from Cleveland? He was the mayor, Jerry Springer, right? They all did it. And they profited off of the hurt. They use African Americans who support them as minstrels. And they people are entertained by it. and they're profiting over it. Much like hip hop music, where those executives who are not of the community are funding music that encourages people in the community to kill each other or to R-word each other, call each other B's and H's and 304s and N-words. They fund that, and we support it. Let's continue.
Had black people sitting in the same room with this person in order to combat some of the hellacious things that was coming out of his mouth, or to have.
And if you haven't liked the video yet, please like the video. Greatly appreciate it. We have a few of you guys watching. Hit that like button. It'll help the YouTube algorithm share this video out. And if you would like to join the conversation, I have the number and the link pinned in the comment section if you guys would like to join. And also, if you would like to just leave a comment down below, if you're watching the replay, let us know what you think. I will greatly appreciate your addition to this conversation and this content.
A different perspective that would have lent itself well to demonstrate the respect for the people that watch your content. And
I can't front. The brother's a good communicator. The boy can talk. The brother can talk.
That you employ. I don't think that your platform would be as big as what it is today if it wasn't for the essential.
It's not a matter of thinking. We know that it would not be as big. Would not.
Utilization of black people, black relationship topics, and black talent. And the talent came from all over. When you include the likes of an Andrew Tate, all the way down to a Brittany Renner. And even from a content creator perspective, from me to a Melanie King, to a Sarah Garvey, to a King Riches, to an Auntie Jenny. So for those just unaware of what's been going on, Pearl has recently come under fire for these particular comments.
I'm trying to get my Africans in America. My Africans. Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
They're gonna be in trouble. This sounds similar to.
And when you refer to my Africans, like when you refer to a genre as yours, like my Africans or I have students. I call them my students, right? I have students of all different races and ethnicities and backgrounds. I'm not saying that's my Italian student. That's my, Nigerian, like that. Why do certain genres, why do certain demographics feel the need to refer to people as that? It's not endearing to say my Africans, because it's possessive, as if we belong to you or they belong to you. So that's problematic also.
To the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by. So they often, but that's what they do, is they embellish. And I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible, it was,
right,
but they want to make it like more.
So this is a replay of what I showed you guys, but
more horrible.
I'm going to commentate on it
so that they can control people.
Now, what's crazy is that I came across these comments while I was live streaming a couple of days ago. And what started out as a laughy, jokey live stream where I wanted to talk about my time up in London quickly diverted to one of the worst live streams that I've ever had in my life. And honestly, it was a trip to hell as I discovered the magnitude of the conversation that she had with this figure by the name of Nick Fuentes. Specific to the comments regarding slavery being embellished, I said this on the stream and I maintain it today, that Pearl needs to be held responsible for this comment. Likening a quote from the writer of Roots explaining a myth for his people to hold on to does not negate the documented history of the atrocities that happened to black people. And I'd argue that Roots was a light depiction of the savagery that my forefathers had to go through to ensure that I would be here today. But let me explain.
And just to give you guys also, I was alive. What was I alive? No, I wasn't. But I remember watching Roots, right? Understand this. This is how, and back in the 80s, I remember it aired on TV in the 80s. I think it did that. And I remember Shaka Zulu watching that. It would never have aired on television, right? If it was not a light depiction of what was actually happening. Ever. A demographic who owned the media does not want content, right, that makes the people who own the media look bad. It's It's just illogical to think so.
And a little bit further, how thoroughly that this actually is, because for me, it comes down to a question of ethics. You're interviewing a known Nazi sympathizer and an anti-Black creator and not offering any pushbacks whatsoever. And in fact,
great point, MTR. Great point. So what was the purpose of having him on the show, other if you're not going to give him pushback on his talking points? Because the one when he talked about how he doesn't agree with everything that happened in the Holocaust that was depicted, right? Instead of giving him pushback, she actually agreed by saying, yeah, just like the Blacks who embellish, and I'm paraphrasing, embellish the events of slavery. It wasn't, I'm not saying that it wasn't horrible, but it may not have been as horrible as they depict it to be. It tends to show who she really is and what she excuse me, what she really believes. But again, Chavis is right. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
You're adding in your own fake news regarding the embellishment or the exaggeration of slavery. Additionally, there are times within the conversation where it's laughy, it's jokey, it's kikiing, especially when you got specific in certain comments that reflected on CP time. And let me also say this, is that generally CP time is something that's laughed amongst people of melanation, but it's not taken as a joke when you're doing it with a person who is a self-proclaimed racist.
So I will say this, right? I was an assistant pastor at a church for over 10 years. And on occasion, we would do weddings and funerals and different events for those in our African community, right? And it's not a disrespect, but it's a cultural thing where they're accustomed to having, when they do events, their events are days long. When they have weddings, their weddings are days long. A good friend of mine got married, and he didn't even invite me. All right, he knows who he is. If you watch this, you know who you are. He got married in Nigeria. I didn't even get an invite. Back then, I probably couldn't afford to go, but I didn't even get the invite. But it was like a 7-day, something like that, 7-day long celebration, right? And certain communities are accustomed to those 7-day long celebrations. So when they come to a place like America, where we're so accustomed to being on time for certain things, they will get to certain places really late. And I remember having to be at churches for funerals up to like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, because their services were very long. It'll start at 6 p.m. and wouldn't end until the wee hours of the night. And we're trying to leave. We can't leave, but we don't want to be disrespectful to the family, so we stay. The church also had a policy that if you are 45, if we have a wedding, and the wedding starts at like 3 o'clock, and you give a deposit, after the 45 minutes, we're asking everybody to leave, and we're closing the doors. And that goes for everybody. And it wasn't because there are certain of people of different cultures who came late. Okay. And the pastor was Italian. He knew when they came late, didn't matter who you were. We were asking you guys politely to leave. We'll do a quick signing outside of the certificate, and you can go on to your reception. That's what it is, right? That's what happens. But in America, we value time. I'm the same. Like, I got to be on time for everything. If I'm on time, I'm already late. Like, if I have an appointment at 5 o'clock, I'm there at like 4:15, sitting in my car waiting. But that's just me. But what I'm not going to do is talk about like negatively and make fun of somebody else's culture because they may be late on occasion, or they're known for being late, and then point out to somebody in my that helps fund me, and make fun of them like that in front of.
Now that I've had the opportunity to digest all of the information, now that I'm not on live streams with thousands of people looking at me, in the back of my mind thinking towards the tens of thousands that are waiting for the perfect reaction from me, I begin to question why you didn't sympathize with the plight of African Americans or Black people in general. And not once in the interview Did you have at least one pro-black stance or some form of ethical defense or cultural sensitivity for the people who carry your production machine forward or the people that you know that watch your channel?
And the problem also is this: when people have become dependent on her, they won't say anything. They won't say anything. Like, will her people, the people she employed in her podcast, will they now start saying, listen, I need to leave, I gotta go? And the thing is, if they do that, she knows that she probably has a platform with people like Ben Shapiro and others of the sort. So this is not the end for her, but what she does now will show and prove what she really feels about the people that have helped her get to where she is today.
That's questionable at the very least, and it shows to me a degree of misguided that you are regarding our culture, and that you have some introspection to do, and you have to find a newfound respect for understanding more about the people that work for you, or who a component of the content is made for. The embellishment of slavery is where you display the true level of your insensitivity and lack of understanding about the culture that you have immersed yourself in, whether you like it or not. Pearl, at the end of the day, you f***ed up. I completely, as I said on that stream, denounce your statements. And I believe that you need to be held completely accountable for your words and your actions. And I want you to do it for the sake of my history, for the sake of my community, for the sake of my audience, and the people who have followed me and will continue to follow me, Pearl. The people that found you through my channel. Because
I wonder if he's lost subscribers because of what he didn't say, which is causing him to do this now. But I'm glad he's doing it now regardless.
Because of these actions, and Pearl, we had a one-on-one conversation before I recorded this video, and I told you I can no longer work with you. We had a dating show that was in the pipeline, and I was super excited about releasing this content on your platform. And then,
so I'll be honest, I think that's premature. I think he should have waited. Unless what they talked about in this conversation, right, gave him the closure to be able to take this stance. But there are some people who say things that just may need to be educated at a specific moment. But if he's going to be, and I think he's doing this for you guys, for the audience. I'm not sure if he's doing this because he really believes that. We have to think level-headed and logically about things like this when people have mishaps with the words, and do more investigation and give them time to see what they do afterwards, because she can come out with an apology, make stances, make certain fixes, all right, make certain reparations, right, to her people, and we'll see. But I think him cutting all ties and business opportunities for the near future, or however long, is a little premature. I believe that he's got to see what she does after this and then make that decision. But I think him coming out right now and saying this is really just to cater to his audience, and which is smart. That's his bread and butter. So I get it.
And cutting it up and putting it up on my platform and reacting to it. We did great content up there. But along with these statements that have come up, I no longer feel comfortable in having.
Yo, and if you're watching now and you haven't liked the video yet, please do me a favor and like the video. And if you're not subscribed, join the Harrison Extended family by subscribing to the channel now.
Having that dating show footage released along with the other content that was recorded up there onto your platform. I plan in the future not to release more content up onto the channel regarding my time in London. And to be honest, frankly, it really sucks because I had a lot that I wanted to be able to speak about. And again, to my community, to my audience, to the people who have followed me and will continue to follow me into the future, I have to take personal accountability for my working relationship with Pearl. And trust me when I say I take full ownership and full accountability. I had absolutely no idea of the comments that were made in the Nick Fuentes interview. And had I known this prior to, I would not have gone to London.
So again, I mentioned before, what's going on, Cool as Ice? I'm not sure at what point you came into the conversation, but I mentioned that when you allow people to come into the space, they see dollar signs and they take and regurgitate talking points from others, and they know they're very different, so people will listen to them, and they'll regurgitate those talking points in order to capitalize and monopolize on people's hurt. Yeah, and I think he may have contributed to just pretty things, monopolizing and gaining profit from men's hurt. And what's going on, Jerry from Cincinnati? Shout out to, we got Cincinnati in the house. What's going on? And we got Gracious Greatness, who is from the UK, who understands fully what we're talking about.
I did not know about this until I came back, and then I went and did a live stream, and then my supporters let me know. For everyone else out there who's ever supported the platform and sent super chats, and for everyone who has been affected by this situation, like I said, I take full accountability. For those of you guys that have followed my platform for a long time, do understand that I've selected, at least I thought I've selected with a fine-tooth comb who I have chosen to work with. If you guys already know, it hasn't been a lot of people, okay? I've also...
And that's the thing. He doesn't do a lot with a lot of people, right? Doesn't. And I mean, I guess there may be a level of discernment there, right? Like when she first got big, and I was watching that video with Hafiz, and my first question was, well, why is she here? Like, what is she in this space for? And what is she trying to do? Because she has all the quote unquote right talking points. But my thought was like, what is her end game? And I'm hoping that MTR goes into every future relationship with that in mind. Like, what's your end game? Okay, our end game is the same. Let's collaborate. Not you have, because here's the thing. I'm gonna say this, and MTR, no disrespect. Okay, I could be wrong, but I see that she was a smaller YouTuber than he was, and she grew in the past 8 months. Crazy, like grew a lot. And this was an opportunity for him to be exposed to her subscribers and gain some subscribers, which is why I think he did what he did by connecting with her, because he saw people and money at the onset, not the end game. We have to go into, especially if you're in a space like the Manosphere or Red Pill, where you're trying to really level up men, you need to identify what's the end goal for the people that you are collaborating with, and then choose whether or not to collaborate them based on shared goals, not just money. And it's hard to do that because we are all driven by money, aren't we? So we want the dollar signs.
We'll have a no beef policy on my platform because I think it does us no good to continue to promote fights and spats. I'm all about delivering value at the end of the day. But as a man in this space, I got to take full ownership and full accountability.
Dope. All right. And we got a question, Alex Ika. Hope I said that right. What's going on? Thank you so much for being here. So should we be sensitive to the Black American demographic, but not be sensitive to other demographics that have been made fun of, dehumanized, and demeaned? See, now I agree with you. Like, no, I don't laugh. If this is me personally, I don't laugh at I try not to laugh at the account of anybody's, detriment. Like I try not to engage in conversations that may be joke filled about any demographic of people. I think we all need to be sensitive about what we laugh at and what we say and what we believe. Okay. Everybody is sensitive about their own. Everybody. I don't care who you are. Everybody is sensitive about their own. Everybody. But will be willing to joke at and make fun of at the expense of others. I disagree with all of it. I disagree with all of it. And it does dehumanize and it does demean. And again, enough of it will cause the demographic who's making fun of, feel better than the demographic who is being made fun of. I don't like any of it. And that's just me personally. I think as a society, we would do better with that. But here's the thing. Let's say that you aren't that sensitive, okay? And you make jokes about other demographics. Then you can't get mad if people make jokes about yours in your presence. You just can't get mad. You got to think of it. You can't be sensitive. If you're insensitive about others, you can't be sensitive about your own. And that's just the balance and the logical perspective of that. So no one is dismissing the struggles of other groups, but for this conversation, only one group was disrespected by Pearlie and Nick Fuentes. Agreed. And it was a group that provides the predominant amount of funding for her channel and content for her channel, because it would be mainly our Black community that would be doing the very thing that we are sensitive about. Like what in particular? Because it wasn't just the late comment that she said. It was also about her belief about Blacks embellishing what happened in slavery and disregarding the documented accounts of what happened. So, but back to what I was saying again, and just in response to this, if you can make fun of somebody else's demographic, you can't be sensitive if somebody makes fun of yours. But on the flip side, don't be going around making fun of people groups. Just don't, because people are sensitive about it. Just don't. We live in a world we tell people got to be less sensitive. No, people got to be less disrespectful. And people got to be less sensitive. You know, like it's got to be both. All right. What's my Cash App, bro? I haven't. Thank you. I'll put it in the chat for you. Let me see if it comes up. I'm not sure if it'll come up. It should come up. If it doesn't come up, I'll put it there. But yeah. I think I used to have it on my this, that, and is, hold on. Cash App is. There you go. Yeah, so that's the point. But I understand what you're saying. I really do understand what you're saying. But if we just need to be less disrespectful and less sensitive at the same time. All right, but let's continue to see what else he's saying here.
Along with my accountability, this is now my definitive stance. I can no longer support or associate myself.
Now, this is also somebody who's accountable to his audience, which I also could respect. We can see that Just Pearlie Things is not accountable to her audience. And she proved that by what she said. She did prove that by what she said. Here's a man, MTR, who's accountable by his audience. And here's the thing. Whenever money is involved and you start losing supporters and funders, you're going to be held accountable quick. So, yeah.
With the Just Pearlie Things platform. And for those who still wish to continue to support voices of women that are down into the space who agree with the particular message that we put up on Jump Street, I want you guys to go check out and follow the following female content.
Oh, he went that far? He was like, listen, I don't want you guys, and without saying it, don't support Just Pearlie Things. Instead, support these. I don't know who these content creators are, so I cannot necessarily show who they are, so I won't. So I'm going to stop the video here. But I think MTR did a good job in fixing up what he was saying in the live stream the other day. He shout out to CP the Artist. He sent me the link of the live stream a little bit and gave me even a timestamp, so I was able to watch exactly. No, actually, no, I watched the whole live stream, to be honest with you. And this is a very good. I don't want to say band-aid. I think he's trying to fix everything up. This was a good response for it. Yeah, so it was a good response. So I appreciate his response 100%.